Good.
So Ronnie Blackshear is going to be via.
Oh, who's going to be?
He'll be on, but he'll be via the.
I don't do here. Are you in charge?
No, Marilyn, and she's on the line.
Yeah,
Okay.
hi there.
Hi, Marilyn.
Good morning, Marilyn.
You can hear me okay? Can you hear me? Can you hear me speak? Okay.
Lee and Sandy should be coming. Okay. So we should have 4. That's good to know. Have some things. Marilyn, I see your cat in the cat box.
Oh, kidding, really? Wow. Did that block it?
Yeah, the pets always get
It's gone now.
Oh, they love it.
All right. No, is Clinton there? Is that Clinton? Hi. Clinton, you represent, let's see, Mike Wells. Is that right?
Correct.
All right. I just wanted to get that right. Thank you.
How are you today?
How are you doing, Kelly?
Here she is. Yeah, you did a good job.
I lost my keys.
Oh, congratulations.
Thank you. Yeah, congrats.
Congratulations. I'm so happy for you.
I was like, oh, maybe she's sitting here. And I'm like, man, have I done this morning or what? You lose your keys, you lose your mind.
The keys in the cell phone are like, yeah.
But no, she's sitting in all our seats. Hey, Marilyn. I guess I can take this off now.
Yeah. Oh, now we have this.
Now we're in our boxes. I've been like,
There's a road coming soon.
don't touch it though, it could be. Funny.
So, who else did you say is coming? Lee? Lee.
Lee's not gonna make it. Talked to him this morning. He thought it was in. He thought it was.
What?
He thought it was in West Pasco. So he wasn't able to. He got a shot at. He had something at the doctor's in his eye yesterday, and he didn't drive this far.
What about? Go back and send it.
I don't know. He was gonna try to get on.
What about
Virtual.
Larry? Larry's not coming.
Larry or Steve. I can. How about Steve Hickman?
Steve's not coming. He had surgery.
Oh,
He did tell me that.
okay.
Larry just talked with me. It was about Rob.
Oh, Tania?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, hi there. Are you going to be on screen online?
No, I'm here.
Well, because I can't hear you very well, and I was just wondering. You're echoing.
There we go. Can you hear me now?
Oh yeah, I can hear you now.
I have my microphone on.
Oh, okay. Well, very good. So we're going over the list of who's here and who's expected, right?
Yes, we just got word that Lee is unable to make it. So we're wondering if, I believe Larry didn't confirm with me if he was going to be physical.
Oh.
So I'm not sure.
Larry represents what? Who? Micah.
Oakley.
Yes.
Yes.
Oh, Mr. Oakley. Yes, that's right. Oakley. All right. And let's see here. I understand Jensen. Is Jensen going to be with us?
Hi, Marilyn. I'm here.
Yeah. Oh, you're there?
Yes, I am.
Oh, okay. I just don't see your face. And then Tina's here from staff. Hi, Tina. All right. Who else do we expect? I'm trying to find out if we have a quorum.
We won't. I don't believe Larry will make it. I don't think so.
All right, now, before we get started, a couple of times I've written messages to you about, checking up with Lee and Ron Hubbs. So now we know that Lee is still interested. How about Ron Hubbs? Have you spoken to him?
Ronald resigned last year due to his wife being ill. So
Well,
that's why last CAC
Yeah,
we were discussing.
I've written messages about, their status. So, all right, Ron is out. Okay. All right. The other question, I also had spoken to. I believe you remember this. I spoke to you about speaking to the mayor of Port Richey, and he said Tom Kinsella might be a good member for this CAC. Now, does your office connect with someone who is a potential, or do they have to come forward, or how does that work?
We would, I believe, Kelly, we're in the process of kind of figuring out, we have 2 at-large positions, and we would have to have the MPO board, they would have to come before the MPO board, and then the MPO board would nominate them.
Yeah, now I'm speaking specifically of the city of Port Richey, okay? And on that council sits a fellow by the name of Tom Kinsella, and the mayor has recommended that he might be a potential member of the MPO CAC. Who then contacts him to represent the city of Port Richey, and not an at-large? Because we don't have anybody from Port Richey, do we?
No, that's one of the ones we need. Hold on, let me pull up.
Marilyn, this is Manny. We can discuss that with Chairman Starkey and to see if he's willing to propose that name.
Okay.
Right.
Okay. Now, listen, guys. I'm the CAC chair. Who does this? Do I go forward? Does someone from staff go forward? Or did you say that you're going to contact Catherine? Or, I mean, who is it that contacts Mr. Kinsella?
So the staff will take care of that. But what we're going to do, we're going to clear it with the MPO board member first.
You're going to do what?
Approach.
You're going to do what?
We will approach the pertinent MPO board member representing the area where this person is.
Okay.
If they're willing to get this person on board as their CAC board member or alternate, then we will follow.
Okay. Well, I would imagine that board person or member is the mayor of Port Richey, Scott Tremblay. Is that correct?
Yes.
That's correct.
Okay, yeah.
I'm going to leave it in your hands now, okay? Because I have sent this information to the office, and my gosh, I talked to Scott about this months ago. Okay, then, so I'll leave.
We'll follow up with the mayor, Marilyn. That's all we can do. We've tried to communicate, and he does attend from time to time. So we'll discuss that with him.
All right, very good. Then I'll just drop the issue since I'm trying to do my part to keep the CAC at a point where it has a quorum, so that these meetings have substance. Do we have we don't have a quorum for today though, do we?
No, unfortunately, Lee had eye surgery yesterday, and we were informed he can't make it. So, and I don't believe Larry was coming physically. Also, we have 2 members from the last time that Clinton recommended that I believe Kelly will be sharing in her minutes to the MPO as well, recommendation. So we have like 3 members that are going to be recommended.
Kelly's going to be sharing information, you say?
Yes, Kelly was going to.
Now, why would Kelly? I'm just curious. Why would Kelly be sharing that?
It was part of her minutes.
Okay, so I was gonna wait until a time when I could talk about this. You just let me know whenever it's pertinent.
Okay.
Because I did not give this update to the board last time.
Okay.
And I really want to have a discussion about why. So you just let me know when you want to hear.
Well,
okay,
then Tania, you're going to have to let us know where in the agenda that discussed. Okay.
We can We can bring that up in other business and CSC membership discussion.
Okay, under other business, that would
Yes.
be
Is that good for
number
everyone?
9. Okay,
Yep.
Charlie will speak at number 9. All right. Well, then with this non-quorum meeting, I'll go ahead and get it started. Okay?
All
Am I
right.
ready for that, Tania?
Yes.
Okay.
Let's move forward.
Pardon me? Let's move forward.
Yes.
All right.
Yes.
First of all, let me just say that I'm going to make the assumption that the agenda that I'm holding in my hand is actually today's agenda and not the agenda for August 9. Is that correct?
Yes, Marilyn, it should say Wednesday, September 9th on the top at 9:30.
It doesn't. And I went through all of my emails from you, and I only found the August 9. Now, however, it appears that it's the correct one. Okay, what was that?
Same.
Marilyn, are you sure you're at the top of the page and not at page 3?
I'm still on the page of the agenda. Hi there, Rob.
Hi. Sorry, I'm just because I'm looking at the one that she sent out that said corrected date, and it's online, and it says Wednesday, September 9th, 2020, 9:30.
All right, well, I looked for a corrected, and I did not see it.
Marilyn, I just re-forwarded it to you. It should be in your email.
Is it basically the same thing then, though? Is that the only correction on it? Because I don't want to have to mess around trying to find it on my email. Is it primarily the same call?
Yes, it's just, yes, the
All right,
date is
very
just
good.
changed.
All right, now, the first item of business is call to order. We've already pretty much done that. You've got our names down, correct?
Yes.
Okay, second item of business would be public comment. Do we have any member of the public present today? Do we?
No.
No.
All right. See, you're going to have to be my eyes for me.
No problem.
Yeah, okay. So I'm going to make a note that there is no public present. All right. Now, approval of the minutes of the meeting from August 31 or, yeah, August 13. Is that correct? No, wait a minute. August 5? Is that the meeting? Okay. Do we do an approval of a meeting that was held but with no consensus? Do we?
We had consensus at the last meeting. We can still hold the meeting.
Oh, we did have consensus. Okay.
Yes, we had
Oh.
consensus versus action. Where we
Okay.
voted.
I apologize. Without my being,
No problem.
it's really, really difficult doing it this way. But anyway, so there was a consensus at the last meeting. So has the members of the CAC had an opportunity to review those minutes? And if so, do I have a motion for approval?
It would be consensus.
Oh,
So we
that's
all-
right, because consensus, because we have no quorum today, right?
Right.
Okay, no quorum.
Marilyn, I do have a change. It shows me on there twice. One says an excused absence and one says attending. I was there. I was just a little late getting there.
Gosh, thank you for bringing that up. Excused, taking that out, and Rob, where are you?
Yeah, but under meeting
there you are.
attendees.
Very
Yep,
good.
I'm on there twice.
Got it. Thank you for that. And by the way, I understand that Pete Odom, who has not normally contacted the office, has asked for an excused absence for today's meeting.
Usually he emails me, but I didn't get an email for this meeting.
Okay, all right.
If you tell me that, I will put him as excused.
Well, I can't tell you that. I thought that's what I read. No.
I think that was for last meeting, Marilyn.
Last meeting he did, but not for today. I didn't get
All
an
right.
email.
All right, very good.
Hey, Marilyn, it's Chris Poole. I wanted to say I'm listed as attending that last meeting. I was not at that last meeting, so I was absent.
Okay.
I'll take Rob's place on the absent list.
All right. So then you are making note of this, Tania, right?
Yes.
Yeah,
I am.
very good. I mean, I'm making note of it, but I'm assuming in your position you will. All righty then.
I'll let them in.
So now that we have the members who are present, members who are not,
Wait a minute, Marilyn. I'm sorry to interject. I was on mute.
who's speaking?
This is Tom Ryan.
Yes.
Can you,
Tom.
I'm having trouble finding the email. Was I listed as attending last meeting? Because I too was not in attendance.
Well, it says here you attended.
You were, I thought you were, Tom. No? Okay.
All
There
right.
was, I'm getting meetings mixed up. There was a meeting that I tried to attend. I don't know if it was last month, but I couldn't connect.
Right. Yes.
I don't know if that was last month or not. And there was a meeting. I listened. I couldn't speak.
Yeah, I think you were on the line. That's why I marked you as there. You were on the
Okay.
line listening. Yeah.
Because I didn't have a chance. Okay. I just wanted to make sure because I wasn't engaged. I wasn't able to vote or anything because I couldn't get my voice through.
All righty. Did you need the agenda, Tom? I could forward it to you.
Yeah, could you do that, please?
Yes.
Okay. Now, do we have any other changes to the meeting attendees from the August meeting? Okay, with no other changes and with no consensus, we'll just move on to the next item, correct? Are we ready?
Yes.
All right. That would be that I guess Manny or someone will give us a review of the meeting that took place in August with the MPO board.
Sure. This is Ronnie Blackshear with the MPL staff.
Oh, hi there.
Good morning. The board approved the hybrid virtual meeting resolution. The board also approved the 2021 meeting schedule. And the board heard a presentation from on the congestion management process from our consultant, and the board also approved that process. That process was part of our long-range transportation plan. It was done in conjunction with that, which was also approved last December. The board also heard a presentation from T. Barter on T. Barter's Envision 2030 plan. And that's a quick synopsis of what occurred at the August 13th meeting.
All right. All right. Well, let me just say that I have not seen that schedule of meetings for 2021. Was that distributed to the members of the CAC board?
Was it last meeting?
It was at the last meeting, Marilyn.
Okay. Well,
You want me to resend it to you?
put me on the list that when I'm not at a meeting, I need stuff. I check my emails, I check all the attachments. I don't recall seeing it. So if you don't
I'll
mind,
forward it to you, Marilyn.
yeah, just forward to me. That way I can take a look at it for the future calendar. All right. Well, that was Ronnie giving that report, right?
Yes.
Thank you very much, Ronnie. Is there anything else that
You're
we
welcome.
need to add to that particular item?
I'd like to add something, Madam Chair. This
Okay,
is
please go ahead, Kelly.
I'd just like to add that at that meeting also, Councilman Jeff Starkey actually said that he would be moving out of the city of Newport Richey, therefore leaving his city council's seat and MPO as well.
Well, that's news to me, and I live in the city. All righty. Well, we'll make note of that, Tania. So that means that I guess the city of Rich will have to take care of the filling
Right.
position.
Right.
And Tania, your office will connect with the city manager on that?
We'll follow up for you, Marilyn. No problem.
All right. Just making sure I'm dotting my I's,
Did he say where he's moving, Kelly?
Didn't.
He said outside the city limit, Tampa?
Or
Where is it?
Wow.
Yeah,
What did
wow.
you say?
Right.
Where was it?
before.
Oh, okay.
All righty then. Thank you for that. And that is kind of a big surprise. You can tell I'm out of the loop in the city move. I live 4 blocks away from City Hall. All righty. With that being said, we will move on to item 5A. Is that correct? Are we in the right place?
Yes, we are. And Manny will be doing the presentation.
Manny, thank you, Manny. You may proceed.
Good morning, all. So this is an annual amendment to the adopted TIP that was approved by the MPO board back in June of this year. This amendment, basically what it does, it reconciles differences between the TIP and FDOT's 5-year work program that will actually take effect on October 1st. Because of the 3-month gap, this annual process identifies projects that were not committed in the previous fiscal year, the 2019-20 or fiscal year 20, and have automatically rolled into the fiscal year 21. This is to recognize those affected projects, and in your packet, you should have a listing of those. There's 3 projects that really didn't get started last year, some phases of it. One is State Road 52 from east of 41 to Aaron Cutoff. There's some design and right-of-way phase. And then US 41 from north of Connerton to 52 for right-of-way and construction has been shifted to fiscal year 21. And we had a couple of ITS projects along Little Road, one from Government Drive to Ridge, and one from Star Trail to US 19. So we go through this every year to catch all the differences between the two. And we're asking the CAC to approve this annual, what they call the roll forward amendment to the TIP. And I'll entertain any questions that you may have.
Any questions from the committee? Okay, well, I don't seem to have that attachment unless it's the attachment with all the numbers on it.
Yes, that's it, Marilyn.
Oh, that
It's
is
a printout. Yeah.
okay. All righty, and that also includes the letter from FDOT. Is that correct?
Yes.
That's correct.
All right, so that's all part of 5A. All
That's
right.
correct.
Then, since we have no consensus, we'll just move on. Correct?
Well, we're all in consensus, so we all agree. Okay. Yep.
I agree. Everybody seems to agree. Any objections or additions?
No.
Okay.
No.
All righty then. We move on to, let's see here, 5A, and what do we have? Hold on. Okay, well, that seems to complete my agenda. So, okay, status reports, presentations, and updates by in item 6. Am I in the right place?
Yes, but there is none at this time.
Oh, all right. I'm just going to go and add that to the agenda. None. All right. So we have now item 7, congestion management process. Manny, or is it Tina who will handle that?
So we have no projects to report to you or follow up with this thing.
All right. So there are none today. That leads us to item 8. Pasco County Public Transportation. Is Kurt there?
Yes, I am.
Hello, Kurt.
Hey, Marilyn, how you doing? How's everyone doing today?
Fine.
Got a lot of things going on in PCP, but I'll cover some of the big ones. As you know, we're about to get our budget approved. We had a lot of cuts due to COVID, and so we're doing a lot of things to try and keep our service at the levels we're at while not decreasing service going forward. So just want to make sure you're all aware of it. We'll be starting fares on October 1st and then moving forward from there. So we'll be kicking back up to normal fixed route side. And just so you're aware of it, our numbers on the fixed route side are now at our normal levels as it would be for last year and the year before. So we're about there. The paratransit side, though, is still severely depressed, still around the 40 to 30% range, depending on the day, the week, and how you look at the numbers. So, and that's still to a lot of the people we transport on paratransit are in that danger zone, so to speak. They're very susceptible to COVID, so they're staying home unless they have to go out for doctor's appointments, and that's what the doctor's appointments and shopping. Although we do get some people who are going to various parks for things. The COA is right around the corner. It'll be hits the board on the 21st, so you can expect that to be coming. You guys expect to be having some phone calls and saying, hey, what are your ideas? Expect those in November. That's about when it's on the timeline. So we'll have our first meeting probably that week of the 21st or the 28th, depending on what's going on with Ted Oliver. And they're approved contractor. The one thing I do want to mention is there's been a lot of talk at the NPO meetings about microtransit. And there was a while back, there was a planning agenda item that was not presented to you, but it was presented to the board about starting a microtransit planning to see if it's feasible. The thing is that the COA has actually got microtransit in it. And what I mean by that is we're looking at ways to implement microtransit. So it's like, where in the county can we put it? How do I fund it? And how do I make it happen? So I'm not just looking at, is it feasible? I'm looking at, is it feasible? And how do I get from point A to implementation? So not just saying, okay, I'm going to spend $20,000 to see if it's possible. I'm saying I'm going to spend money to make it happen. So that's where we're at right now. And honest truth, Dade City is probably going to be a key factor in that, because we could provide microtransit and still do our service, and we'll be able to service more area, i.e. start hitting San Antonio now and getting some service over to the college, St. Leo, sorry, forgot it, St. Leo. So we can actually now start serving St. Leo and be able to provide service out there. As we get closer to that, you'll hear more about how microtransit can be implemented in that area, and that will be part of the comprehensive operational analysis. Lastly, Shady Hills is on track, and you see our new buses in the back of me on my screen there. October 5th, we're rolling them out. So there's where we're at.
Kurt, I have a question.
Yes.
I have a question, please.
Go for it.
You said that you were discussing a lot of this at the MPO meetings. What MPO meetings was that you were discussing this microtransit? Was that the TAC meeting, or was that a special other meeting that I'm not aware of?
Starkey was the one who brought it up at the last meeting, and the meeting before that one, and the actual presentation, I think it was in February to the MPO.
To the board.
MPO board, yeah.
It was actually March.
March. Thank you, Ronnie.
Okay. Do we have any questions?
Oh, no, I got my last thing is.
Oh, sorry, Kurt.
No problem. Fred. I was going to say something else and I forgot it. I'm sorry. Go ahead. Any questions for me?
I do have a question or a thought. When you say microtransit, are you making reference to like commuters that seat about maybe 10 people?
No.
Okay.
Microtransit is a way to do fixed route in an area without having a bus run every hour. It requires a good software program, and I would put it on par with Uber, but not quite. So we'll have fixed route stops at locations throughout areas. And if someone would, and we'd have certain times we would be at those locations upon request. So we'll have loops at different locations. And Ronnie, if I say something that's not quite right, please correct me on it, because I'm still learning a lot about microtransit myself. But what it will do is allow me to have a bus service a lot of different areas depending on the need. Because some buses, unfortunately, ride up and down the street with no one in them. And that's part of what the COA is going to hopefully mitigate. We won't have that as much. For microtransit, instead of going up and down these streets, we'll have certain time periods they'll go. And so let's say I want to be picked up on the corner of 7th and Main in Dade City. I'll go on the app and say, hey, pick me up at 10 o'clock on the 10 o'clock route on there, and it will actually run that route at that time.
Okay.
Hey, Kurt, it's Chris Poole. Can I offer a suggestion that possibly we get a presentation more focused on microtransit in the next board meeting, possibly?
We can. I don't know if next board meeting will be feasible.
Okay.
The one after, because unfortunately, the next this next month is going to be very busy for Pasco County Public Transportation.
Okay.
So I will. How about this? At the latest November, I'll try and make it for the October meeting.
Thank you.
That would be fine. We understand you're very busy with all these changes. And Kurt, due to this COVID situation, I would imagine the numbers of riders has dropped dramatically.
No, that's not true.
Okay.
Beginning in March, it was. Especially on fixed route, but the numbers have come back on the fixed route. The weekly numbers compared to last year are about normal for growth.
Okay.
So we're actually either just a little above or a little below, depending on what the season is.
Well, okay. Now, this is something of an aside, but is there a requirement that riders wear masks?
Yes, that is a requirement.
Yeah.
Requirement.
Yeah. I think that our entire county has that requirement.
That's correct.
So, now, do we have any more questions of Kurt at this time?
I just want to clarify, Marilyn, it's you either wear a mask or you stay 6 feet apart. That's the actual county requirement.
It's an either or. Isn't it both? It's not both.
No.
Well, I believe it is both, but there may be situations where you can't, especially on the bus. I guess that'll be hard to do, but it's both. But on a bus, I think that's probably what Kurt may be referring to. And Kurt, if I'm wrong, let me know.
I get a newsletter from the county, and I'm pretty sure I read some time ago that it is now a mandated mask wearing situation as well as the 6 feet. And there are times, like you say, when 6 feet is difficult. Hence, the mask is necessary at all times. Alrighty then. We have now heard from Kurt, and I believe that. Do we have any other questions at this time before I move on to item 9? Okay, item 9, CAC membership discussion. Is this where you wanted to talk?
Yes, if I could just take a minute, please.
Sure, please.
So I just want to let everybody kind of know what happened a little bit last month. And I came out to Dade City to give the CAC report like I have done in the past. And normally we're first on the agenda. And for some reason, it was put at the end of the agenda. And here's my frustration with that. Two things. Number one, I already sat through this entire meeting. So to come out all the way to Dade City again a second time and sit through the entire meeting, the presentations and everything a second time, I didn't have time for it. I didn't plan. I had a second meeting after that. But the thing that really got me, I think, after I started thinking about it further was that, I dedicate a lot of time, and we all dedicate a lot of time to this. And when you commit to something, I feel that we should all have a quorum. We all have a voice, and I know that this is a very difficult time for us to do that. But if we're going to drive all the way out here and not have a quorum, I just as soon sit in my living room as well and not have spent the money or the time to drive out here. So I think we need to come up with a plan on whether or not we're going to have a quorum, because if we're not going to really have a quorum, I think, the hour and a half it took me to drive out here could have been better spent. Secondly, I also feel that this group has a very strong voice and it should be heard to the MPO. So when we decide things, because it's supposed to go through the citizens first, then it's presented to the MPO as this is what we feel you all should be looking at. By putting the CAC's report at the end, they've already gone and voted on everything. So they don't have that citizen input prior to them voting. I was extremely disappointed about that because I took my time to come out here and listen to those reports, to put together and compile a report to give to the MPO board, and then for them to not even hear it before they voted. I found it all completely dysfunctional. So I hope that your team of staff decides to come up with a better plan on how they're going to implement and utilize the CAC, because I think we're going to start seeing members drop quickly. I'm very disappointed in the way that this turned out. I'm disappointed that the MPO board members did not get to hear us. So be that as it may, that's what happened last month, and I apologize that I did not stay for the meeting because, again, I had time constraint. But it's important that we have that interaction with the board. That's the crucial part. When I was the chair, and I know that Marilyn's done it on occasion for me, and Sandy's come and spoke, they want to know what we're saying. And something just as equally as important as Jeff Starkey resigning off the MPO is something that we should all be knowing.
Yes, we should.
This stuff with microtransit, it's the first time I've heard about microtransit. Okay, now today I've come out here and we sat here for half an hour and we're on number 9. Okay, so I'm actually here 1/4 of the time it took me to drive home. So I'm off my soapbox. I hope that we can make some changes going forward. Thank you.
Do we have any comments in regards to Kelly's remarks? Well, let me just say, Kelly, I support you in that. I know that I've been unable to attend. I had eye surgery last month, and I have other issues that don't allow me freedom outside of my home a great deal. So we'll just leave it at that. But I think Kelly is making a very good point, and that we do need to have that a relationship with the MPO board. So maybe all we need to do is ask staff to just make sure that the MPO the CAC representative is moved back up to the top. Any comments, Manny, Tania?
Marilyn, yes, we have taken your comments into consideration, and I guess Ronnie will consider that, and when we move forward, we'll reply to your inquiry maybe at a later date.
Okay, that's excellent. And do us a favor and make sure, if you don't mind, that we actually receive some communication from the MPO office prior to the next meeting. That would be helpful. And also, let me just say too, I respect what the staff is going through. It's got to be really difficult, not only to do your everyday work, but also to keep us informed, to keep the MPO board informed. So we do appreciate that. This is a very unusual time. Now, since we are now down to item 10, unless we have any, okay, Rob, go right ahead. Rob?
Yeah. When you ask a question at me, if you pause for a second, because I wanted to reply, but you went right into yours. So
I'm sorry.
I know it's tough, but I just kind of look around. Give us a second.
Yeah.
I want to say, I mean, it doesn't, to Kelly's point, it doesn't make sense to not get the public feedback before you vote on anything in there. So I don't know how you would justify moving the update to the end after everything's done. That makes no sense. Then what are we doing? We shouldn't even be here. It's a waste of time. Second part is there a reason why, because I'm part of other boards and we do virtual and yet it's counted as a quorum and we vote on things. So I'm just wondering why the need is for the in-person. Is there a legal, is there something that other boards are missing?
Yeah, sure. The hybrid virtual meeting is a new requirement at this time that the MPO, the Board of County Commissioners, pretty much put in place beginning with their July meetings. And it was all based on the governor's executive orders where fully virtual meetings are allowed, and they still are. However, going to that point when those fully virtual meeting, the resolution, the executive order expires, and I believe it expires on October 1st, then would basically go back to how meetings should be required, meaning that a physical quorum must be present. The executive order also said, if you look at all of them, it still allow virtual meetings. So we have to go, if we're doing that and we're still in this pandemic, we're going with a hybrid virtual meeting, meaning that with the hybrid virtual meetings, it's the same, pretty much, there's still some differences with fully virtual, meaning that you have to have a physical quorum present at the meeting location. That's a requirement. That's not going to change. Other members can actually participate via, in our case, excuse me, via WebEx, or if they want to, via the phone, or however you want to put that. There's still that requirement of not having no more than 50 people in the actual boardroom. That's generally the public. If there's presenters, other staff members that need to be there, that's still allowed. But you're not limited to your minimum quorum. If, for instance, if 6 or 7 were present at Dade location, that's fine. I mean, we'll make sure that the social distancing requirements are in place. I believe I looked at the dais, the board, the meeting where the board members would sit. I believe you can get about 6 or 7 up there, if I'm not mistaken, because I know that they have those partitions of glass there. So you have to have a physical presence at the location. That's a requirement. If you don't have that, then you can't go and actually vote on action items.
Okay. Any comments from anyone else? And I'm sorry, Rob, I should have asked that earlier. Any comments?
Hey, Marilyn.
I do. Sorry, one comment, Ronnie. So I sit on the planning commission too, and we're required through the hybrid virtual meetings to have a quorum physically present on the dais. Is that not the case for the MPO as well?
I'm sorry.
It's the case for the MPO and the TAC, CAC, LCB, and BPAC, all of the advisory committees of the MPO too, yes.
Do I understand that what you're saying is that you're distinguishing that there's a difference between the hybrid, or the hybrid includes online as well as in person? Is that what we're talking about?
Yes, hybrid is basically you can actually have the physical presence, and then members could actually participate, but you have to have a physical quorum at the location. And that has never changed. I mean, if you go back to look at everything, any meeting, like if we weren't in this pandemic, you still have to have a physical presence at that location.
Okay, then to just repeat what I think I've heard here is that we can continue to hold these hybrid virtual physical meetings, but that a quorum doesn't take place unless the bodies are actually at the physical location. Is that correct? Okay.
Yes.
And now that's news to me. I thought that since we have to do it this way, that it would count.
No, this was all presented at our last CAC meeting when I went through this, where I said,
that's what I knew.
Based on that.
All right. So anyone else have any questions of staff or any other remarks to make before we move on?
Ms. Marilyn, again, this is Ronnie Blackshot. I just wanted to let you guys know, I wasn't sure how you guys have, as far as your agenda, the agendas were basically being followed how they've been structured over the times that I've been here. So if there was a way that you guys were actually at the, I guess at the upper top, or, at the beginning of the MPO board meeting, I'm assuming that's how you were before.
Yes.
What changed that? Well, it wasn't changed on my part, is what I'm saying.
I don't think I understand the question. I'm sorry. Just, you're saying.
There's reference saying that the CAC, the reports of the CAC was not at the bottom of the MPO board agenda. It was my understanding that you guys were located, I guess, up toward the beginning. I
think I understand. Okay. You're talking about the actual MPO agenda. Let me see if I can look at that here. Okay, hold on a second.
Yes, Ronnie, but they were at the beginning of the agenda.
Public.
But
It
I
was
guess what
public
I'm trying to
comment
address is
CAC.
that what was the reason why it was pushed down? That's the thing, because it sounds like the CAC members now would like to, I guess, possibly go back to the top. So was there a reason why that was moved, or what was the reasoning for that? Is what I'm asking.
Hey, Ronnie, this is Manny. From what I recall, we've never had the TAC or CAC report, BPAC report on the bottom. I can't remember when it was moved down. We never did it. So what they're asking, if you agree, we'll just move it up on the agenda. I mean, that's what they're asking for.
Right.
Exactly
The,
right.
the
Yeah.
last two agendas, it was on the bottom.
Must be back up.
I say it's easy enough to see. You go back to the previous agendas before that, you'll see it was at the top. I know the 3 times it's presented, it's been at the top.
Well, and I wasn't here for the March meeting, so I'll take a look at that. And nothing with I didn't change the actual meetings. I'll have to take a look at it. Not a problem.
That'll be great. Thank you. All right. Do we
Good
have
morning,
any?
Marilyn.
Pardon me?
Yes, good morning, Marilyn. I was getting ready to shoot a flare up because I kept trying to
Hey there.
get in. I need a couple areas of direction I wanted to check with y'all. On Wednesday, August 26th, when I was over by 5A High School, the road was backed up between Chicago and Canton with the buses. And this was in the morning, you know, when school was getting in. So I just didn't know who to direct this to, or if this was the time to let it known. But it was literally backing up into the traffic lanes. So the turn lane that they made really, really long is pretty much useless at that time of the morning. So I just didn't know if someone could look at some kind of with the lighting on the timing or something, so there's no accidents, especially with that new car wash going in after they get rid of Townhouse. It's going to make that area even busier. So, and then another area, in my traffic area over where I live, Fairwinds Road in Colony, I contacted Jeffrey Monasalian with the Traffic Operations Division for the county. I was directed to him through Withlacoochee because I just simply was seeing about having a light pole put up at that corner because there's no striping on the road at all. I know we're back in the woods there, but there's a school bus stop there and it's completely dark. And there's been multiple accidents at the intersection, and it's going to be very expensive litigation if someone gets hit there. And basically, Mr. Jeffrey Monasalian said that there was no plan to do anything there. And I even have an email from him saying that. So I just wanted to just see who on here could look at this negligence. And then I'm sure Meadow Oaks has some kind of responsibility. There's no striping on the road between Colony and Banyan Street. So I just want to at least make mention to these areas and just, see what I can do to help with that.
Manny, I would imagine that those items that Clinton just mentioned would go under congestion management.
They do, and I hope Tania took a note of the 2 areas of concern. But I would recommend if Clinton can just draft those 2 comments and send them to Tania, we'll follow up on that. I think I know who to send them to kind of, Public Works and Traffic Operations need to kind of take a closer look at that and respond, because I think maybe they'll be able to do some sort of striping, but we'll have to look at it. So Clinton, will you please send your 2 comments kind of like
Straight.
kind of on what roadway from where to where, and kind of clear on what you're asking? We'll follow up and report back to you in the next meeting.
Yes, I'll do that today. Thank you.
And that, thank you for making that reference, Manny. I was just going to say that for our October meeting, to make note of those 2 items that Clinton just talked about under the congested management line item.
Hey, Marilyn.
Yeah.
Ms. Marilyn?
Pardon me. What?
This is Kurt. I
Yes.
suggest also that they may want to reach out to the school district. They might be able to move the buses to a different location.
Okay, do we have that down? Okay, we'll make a note of that, okay? All right then. Now,
Ms. Marilyn? Hi, this is Ronnie Blacksher again. I'm sorry. I took a look at past agendas, and that was something as I began to reorder the agendas, I noticed that I'm the one who's responsible for that. So what I'll do is I'll make sure that that's
Okay, I'm sorry,
back to the
Ronnie.
area.
What was that you made reference to, please?
I said as I was going through reordering the agendas,
Uh-huh.
beginning with the July, with actually after the June meeting, beginning
Yeah.
actually with the August meeting is when it's the first time that it occurred.
Yeah.
So what I'll do is I'll move that back up. So
Okay, very
I
good.
apologize for that.
Thank you for taking care of that. We appreciate it. Now, at this time, do we have any other comments to make on any agenda item before we move on to item 10? Okay, so with that, item 10, now we have the round table. And, okay, I'm looking at the board up here. Sandy, why don't you go first?
Why doesn't someone else? It's just actually, this pandemic has caused a lot of problems in Pasco, and I feel for you guys and staff, and I know it's difficult to put together a hybrid thing. I didn't really understand the 5 thing either until this month, actually. Last month, of course, I couldn't get on. It wasn't last month, but in June, I guess I couldn't get on, and I couldn't figure it out to save my life, even though I've been on my sofa and Zoom meetings and all kinds of other meetings. For some odd reason, webinar doesn't like me. So I decided this month I'm coming in person. But I actually went on and registered for the virtual in case I couldn't be here in person. But by golly, I was going to be here, and I lost my keys, and I was late, a little late, but I was on time, 9:30. So I made it. And I do like being in person much better. And it's a joy to see all of you. And actually, I feel like the roads are a little better with people staying home and working. I don't know that we need to worry so much anymore on 41 and 54. We can just keep that off on 20 years.
Good observation.
And we can micro transit everywhere. So that's all I have to say. It's a pleasure to see you, and thank you very much, Pasco County, for making the pandemic a little easier to get by on. Thank you.
Thank you, Sandy. Kelly?
I have nothing else other than to just say good to see you all on camera, and I wish everybody the best, and hopefully we can all get together soon again. I miss my big squeezes from my friends. So
Thank you. And Melanie?
My mic's not working, but I
Oh,
don't.
I hear you. Melanie, I hear you. Can you hear me? Oh, okay.
It's a different kind of mic. Thank you. I'm looking for the red. I apologize. Thank you. No, I don't have anything. Thank you.
All right. Now, Clinton, so you're all set for now?
Yeah, I'll just be the devil's advocate. 52 and 41 was just such a joy to go through this morning. I'm gonna try and leave tomorrow, the night before this meeting, so I can make sure I get here on time.
I hear you. All righty. Chris Poole.
Nothing other than the request to Kurt on the microtransit. But I will say, I like what Sandy said. That you guys have done a great job putting this together. It's not easy to coordinate the hybrid virtual meeting. So good job on the county putting this together.
Thanks so much. Anything else, Chris?
No, ma'am.
All righty. Let's see. Looking at my notes. Who else do we have? I'm sorry. Sandy, Melanie, Clinton, Kelly, Steve. Steve's not there. Larry's not there. Okay, anyone else?
It's Tom Ryan.
Hi, Tom.
I just want to request that a summary of the hybrid version that was explained, the hybrid quorum public meeting. Could somebody email that, please, so that we have that crystal clear on what we are supposed to do as far as meeting in person? Because I could have gone to Dade City this morning. I didn't realize that was a requirement.
I'm with Tom on that. In fact, Tania, what you said to Tom.
If you look in your prior package for the August 5th meeting, the hybrid resolution was in there.
Okay.
It's where?
Yeah, I think it would just be good to just resend it out. Again, everybody gets lots of emails, so if we just resend it, if it's in there, that would be great.
I agree with Tom and Rob that all of us need to have that information again, just so that we are all on the same page, because I also was not aware that you had to be physically present to create a consensus. So, yeah, okay. Okay, does anyone else have anything to add?
It's Rob, real quick.
Rob? Yeah, go.
I just wanted to say, again, kind of reiterate what everybody said. Thanks to the staff for, dealing with it and put it all together. I mean, my personal opinion is I feel like we should still be able to operate under the virtual and the quorum setting. I'm not sure, what the necessary, why it moved the other way, because you still have lots of things going on and people trying to be cautious one way or the other, whether you believe it to be less or more. You still have a fair amount of people who are trying to do it. And personally, for myself, I'm coaching football. And so I try to, outside of being exposed to 42 kids every single day, minimize what exposure I'm doing outside of that. So, there's just circumstances that, we're in. So, I don't know if a word could be sent to them to reconsider virtual hybrid breed or whatever to be able to do it. But I think it would get better results. And that's it.
Okay, thank you, Rob. And I think you make a very good point. And I know that staff will be taking that into consideration. All right. Do we have anyone else that wants to make a comment before I do in regard to the roundtable? Okay. With that, all I wanted to do was mention something that I've been reading about in the news. It started with a letter to the editorial department from none other than Jeb Bush, in which he promotes something called MCORs. Now, Manny, do you know MCORs?
A little bit. These are corridors identified in the state of Florida.
Uh-huh.
I guess for more corridors for transporting goods and services that are planned.
Very good. You really
Marilyn? Yeah. Marilyn, we have Jensen on the line who is actually with FDOT. That's who's working on that project. He can elaborate for you if you'd like.
All right. I will ask Jensen to do so in just a second. Yeah, I found the information about MCORs to be interesting. It was the first time I'd heard about that, and it made me wonder about some of the things we've been working on at the county level. And let me just say, too, that, let's see here, there was also another, oh, yes, it was an article from Tallahassee about what they refer to as the controversial toll road projects. And they specifically, this person specifically mentioned MCORs with consideration of a concern about the natural environment. With that being said, and that is just very brief, Jensen, could you give us some information?
Yes, I can, Marilyn. Good morning.
Thank you. Good morning.
So this project for these 3 toll roads across the state, one would be an extension of the Suncoast Parkway all the way up to Georgia. The other one is an extension of the Florida's Turnpike in Wildwood to connect with the Suncoast Parkway somewhere either Citrus County or northward. And the other project, the third one, is a road connection from the Polk Parkway in Polk County near Lakeland down to somewhere in the neighborhood of Naples to Fort Myers area. None of the roadway corridors have been fully drawn out yet. This whole MCORs project started last year in the Florida State Legislature by Bill Galvano, Senate President. And these were projects that he found to be very important to get services to some of the more rural areas of Florida, as well as to help alleviate some of the congestion on some of our main interstate corridors throughout the state, and also help with evacuation routes. So this was put on by the legislature, and then they passed it on to FDOT to kind of manage the projects and all of the public hearing side of things, which those public hearings and meetings are ongoing. We've kind of had to scale those back a little bit because of obviously COVID. So a lot of those meetings have been online between stakeholders in those locations, around those roadways, MPOs, cities, local jurisdictions, and those things. I don't have any more information on the project specifically aside from that. Like I said, the corridors are known, but the specific details of what would entail those roadways, where specifically that they would go, that's still up for interpretation through our meetings that are ongoing with all of those local jurisdictions that are involved across the state. So,
okay. Well, that was a very good synopsis, and I appreciate that, Jensen. And
you're welcome.
I just like to, be aware. I mean, I read a lot, and I saw this, and I noticed it was something new, and I just wondered how that would affect Pasco County at some point. But it also seems to me that at this time, what with COVID, as you mentioned, and with so many other projects going on, this is an item that will probably be discussed more in the future. Does anyone have any comments to make about this at all? Okay, so with that then, once again, Jensen, thank you for that very thorough information. Now, at this point of our meeting, we get to go to adjournment. And with my announcement that the next meeting, and Tania, make sure I have this correct. It says September 30th in Dade City.
Yes, it is.
Is that correct?
Yes, it is.
Okay, my question is, why is it in Dade City again?
Unfortunately, with the hybrid virtual meeting, we have to have it in either Dade City or Newport Richey in order to have it videotaped so the public can see as a part of the requirement. And because everyone's vying for the same space, it's been kind of like a juggling act to kind of get everything settled. So last month we were, this meeting was supposed to be in Newport Richey, but unfortunately the boardroom was booked, so I had to move it over here. So I think the one in November is Newport Richey. I do apologize.
Okay.
We just have everybody vying for the same spaces.
All right. So then what
I mean November, because the September 30th is really October. So yeah, that would be November's
the September 30th meeting is actually the October meeting,
yes.
But it has to be met that day so that it's done in time for the October meeting of the MPO board, correct?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. So that means the October meeting of the CAC held on September 30th will be once again at Dade City. All right. Okay, then I guess that really brings the meeting.
Kelly has a comment.
Yes. So can I just go further down the road, because I know we did approve the 2021 schedule and there was some questions about the end of this year. So are we having November's meeting on October 28th?
November's meeting is on the 4th. On the 4th in Newport Richey.
That's the one you're trying to get for Newport Richey.
That is in Newport Richey. That is scheduled. Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. All right. So we have the October meeting, which is in September, and we also have the November meeting scheduled, and that will be November 4th in Newport Richey. Very good.
Yes.
All right. Well, I'll be typing up a bunch of these notes and sending them to you, Tania. And the meeting of the MPO Board of Directors is taking place on, what is this?
Tomorrow.
Tomorrow.
Oh, tomorrow. All right, well, I'm going to send you my notes, and perhaps someone from staff can provide those to the board, because I think that with, Kelly and Sandy and everyone already having been here today, perhaps the staff could do this?
Okay, go ahead.
It's preferable that a CAC member do it so that it's coming from the board, the CAC board itself, not staff.
Okay. I'm so sorry, Ronnie. Repeat what you said.
It's preferable that a CAC member, either the chairman or vice chair of that advisory committee, actually report to the board and not the staff.
Yeah.
And you don't have to be there in person. You can do it via WebEx.
Oh,
That would be tomorrow. You
actually,
Yes.
if it's moved to the front, would it be around 10 o'clock a.m.?
Ronnie, are we going to move it to the CAC, all the
Well,
member reports?
currently right now it's at the end, but yeah, it can be moved to the front. Like I tried to do it last month, but
if it's moved to the front, I can be back.
All right,
Because
Sandy.
I love coming.
Well, you could just do it on WebEx. So.
yeah, you can do it on WebEx.
I'm not very good at WebEx.
Okay.
In case you haven't. Hence the reason why I'm here today.
Well,
No
Sandy,
problem.
that's very good of you to offer to do that.
I do want to say, coming over here, we are in very protective safety penalty boxes here. And
Well,
you might not concede that. So do come and join us. I think it's just as safe as your living room. And plus you wear a mask in, so but you're able to take it off with our penalty boxes here that are
It's hockey.
safe and
Okay, then tomorrow's meeting then takes place in Dade City at the old courthouse. Sandy Graves will be the representative for the CAC. I will be typing up some notes to send to Tania, or I forget. Should I
you can
just
what? Send them to me, Marilyn, or send them to Tania and she
You
can.
can do that, Marilyn. If you don't mind, please send them to Tania and
Oh
she
yeah, that's right.
forward them.
We've got the sunshine. Okay, I'll send them
I
to
can't talk
Tania.
to you.
Tania will send to Sandy. I'm making a little diagram right now. Okay. All right.
Spread that sunshine all over.
That's right.
So now, are we all set? Manny, Tania, are we all set for this meeting?
We're all good. Thank you all.
All right. Well, thank you for being there, everyone. Very much appreciated. Have a good day.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank
Thanks so
you.
much.
Bye.